What's up?
Yeah.
We're working within a biological system and a biological process that is already in place, and hopefully leave it better than the way we found it.
Food today is convenient. You could get anything shipped directly to your door. But with convenience comes a lack of knowledge. It's so easy to get food that we don't necessarily know where that food comes from. The steak you bought at the store could be shipped in from Australia, Canada, or even as far as Brazil. The craziest thing is that meat can have a label saying "Product of the USA" stamped on it, even if it was shipped over in a frozen container and just processed in the US. And the processing could be as simple as cutting a big piece of meat into a smaller piece of meat. This led me on a mission to find a local source for my meat and to figure out exactly how this burger came from a cow in a pasture to my plate. I reached out to Bel Campo in Northern California and asked if I could come see how their farms operate. I jumped in my car, drove 10 hours from the beach in Southern California to the base of Mount Shasta to see the entire process from the beginning all the way to my burger. So I just got to the Bel Campo Farms, just got to my house, which is the Shasta house. And from here, I'm meeting up with Frankie, and she's gonna help us understand this whole farm thing because I've actually never really been on a farm, and this is gonna be a new experience. I have no idea what to expect. Hey, what's up?
Hey.
Frankie? The first thing that Frankie wanted to do was introduce me to Bel Campo and show me around the farm.
Farmers markets, you barters.
So you bartered some sausages for
Kale and some peppers. But all of our pigs are in this section of the farm. So we're gonna show you our hoop house right now. This is where pigs come to farrow. Farrowing means have babies.
What's up?
Yeah.
Is there like a call to get the cows to come over?
No, ask Olivia. She's the one in the back end. Hey, cow, 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 cow.
Oh. Hi. Are you a protector of the herd?
They're not quite sure what to think of me. They're all curious. There's a lot of them. As the sun set over the farm, I realized there's much more to farming than I thought, and this is just the beginning. So it's 5 a.m. right now. I was told to meet over by the main offices. We got to get going early because it gets so hot in the afternoon. But after driving 10 hours yesterday, definitely need some coffee before we get into farm life.
Hi, my name is Leah. I'm the swine manager here at Bel Campo. That means I manage all of the hogs here. And today we're gonna go wean some piglets and give some vaccinations.
All right, let's go. Weaning is the process of taking the piglets away from the mother so that the piglets can start eating food versus just their mother's milk. This can be a stressful time for the piglets and the mothers, so the goal is to keep the pigs calm and make the transition as smooth as possible.
So in conventional farming, pigs like this spend their entire lives in a barn. I try to only have my moms in the barn for like 2 to 4 weeks, depending on the weather and how the piglets are doing. So these guys got out on the field when they were about between 4 and 5 weeks old, and then I keep them out here for another few weeks. Also, having all of these mothers together is really unique. Normally, pigs have individual pens. They have babies by themselves, but we try to take advantage of the fact that pigs are very communal animals and they like to be together. So when they farrow close together, we'll put moms in the same pen so they can bond, their piglets can bond, and everybody gets more milk. In a conventional operation, the average age for weaning is about 18 days. We wean between 6 to 8 weeks. So that's a huge difference. They're on their mothers a lot longer. Not the best, you know, for like production standpoints, but for, you know, the health of the pig, the health of the mother, it works really well.
Well, thanks for showing me. I'll see you later.
Sorry, I gotta run.
Bel Campo uses a style of regenerative farming. This means that they rotate their animals and their crops throughout the pastures. So I sat down with the farm manager JP to get a little more insight into how this all works.
So regenerative farming is farming practices that interact with the natural world in a way that is equitable to the business as well as equitable to the environment. But let's take, for instance, our irrigated pasture or cropland. So we have an integrated cropping, grazing system where we're able to utilize both our crop program in conjunction with our grazing animals and the other livestock we have. Each animal interacts with the land differently. Obviously a cow, you know, is 1,200 pounds on 4 legs and they take big bites. And sheep are 100 pounds on 4 legs and they take little bites. They perform a similar process. The ruminants break down cellulose bonds, releasing carbon, turning that into protein via their ruminant process, leaving behind fertilizer for the soil that feeds microbes. And then we have pigs that do something totally different. They dig. Pigs like to dig. We will use pigs in an area that needs more disturbance and needs more, you know, breaking up that top layer, crusted over dry soil so that, you know, rain and irrigation water can penetrate. And chickens eat a little bit of grass and they eat a lot of bugs and they leave behind nitrogen-rich manure that serves as great fertilizer so that crops come back stronger with soils that have better water holding capacity, more balanced nutrient levels in the soil. We're working within a biological system and a biological process that is already in place. We try to make decisions that are conscientious and cognizant of the effects we're going to have on the biological process already in place.
So I just got a text from Frankie and I guess they're harvesting right now some of the vegetables. Let's see what that's all about.
Yeah, so harvesting red onions for a farmer's market today. And then I have 4 types of squash, your like regular zucchini, yellow squash, this other green squash guy, and then this super cool heirloom variety of squash. And then this is buckwheat. We're using this as a cover crop. For next year, I want to make this a pollinator garden for like native pollinators and native plants.
So you said this is a cover crop. So what do you mean by cover crop?
It protects the soil, it prevents weeds, and it also builds up the soil. So we'll extract nutrients from the soil, and then as it dies and decomposes, it reintroduces that into the soil, and it just helps up just build soil microbes.
So you're using the buckwheat to basically bring the nutrients back to the land, and then you're going to plant something else here next year.
Yep. So I'm going to have you harvest this summer squash. I just use scissors. Basically, you just want to cut it from the top here. Yeah, perfect.
Done.
Awesome.
I got a summer squash.
Perfect. So with the produce, we really want to take advantage of what we have going on here with our orchard and our immediate garden. And we want to be able to share this beautiful organic produce with our local community as well as our meat. And then next year, hopefully, we'll be able to send more produce out to the restaurants to pair with our meat as well.
There's such a difference when you have fresh food. So all of this on my plate came from the Bel Campo farms. The squash and the onions came from the garden right there. The habanero that I picked came from the greenhouse over there. And the meat came from animals that were recently butchered. Everything on here is as fresh as it can be, like straight from the farm. And this is a big thing when it comes to our food. We get so detached from where our food comes from that, you know, we don't know how fresh something is. We don't know, you know, where it came from in the world. And a lot of times that's gonna dictate how it's gonna taste. You want good tasting food. You wanna fill your plate with things that are healthy for you, but also that taste good. And if you get these vegetables, these fruits, these meats that come from a local farm, you'll know immediately in the taste.
So now we're heading over to the chicken coops. They have these roaming chicken coops that go all over the farm. We're gonna go find where they're laying eggs and go do some egg collecting.
I bet that you can't catch a chicken.
You have a friend.
That's probably a good one, yeah. Make it go towards the fence. Okay, maybe that one's too fast. Epic.
Caught a chicken.
It. You did it.
Hi.
Look at that.
Look at that. Go back to
laying.
Bye. So these chicken houses are mobile, and these are what they move around the farm. You can see they got like tires on down here. Just pull them around the farm and move them in different locations. So depending on where the rotation is, they drop these guys wherever. Explain what you're doing.
I'm just collecting eggs, man.
Yeah.
We got to keep count of everyone we pick for every trailer.
Yeah.
Add them up at the end of the day, see how much we get.
So how often do you do this?
Twice a day.
He just collected 128 from in here. I guess some of these guys can be a little mean. They'll peck you. So far they seem pretty nice.
We got 1,041 eggs, man.
You got 1,041 eggs?
1,041 eggs.
Wow, farm life is definitely exhausting. You know, starting this morning super early with the pigs, doing some harvesting, collecting eggs from the chickens. Those guys have to go back and collect more eggs today. I mean, it's kind of crazy how much gets done, but at the same time, it's so like chill and it's so like relaxed here. But there is just so much work to do. So after a short break, we headed out to see the final piece of the puzzle, where all the cows fit into this ecosystem. The cool thing is Belcampo doesn't just have cows in this one area. They have ranches with cattle that extend all the way from where the Belcampo farm is all the way down to the Cottonwood Redding area. And these ranches give the cows the freedom to roam and graze on big chunks of land. It's so cool to see how these cows just have so much land to roam. We actually just saw a baby cow born and take its first steps. So they're born out here in the fields. That's where they stay. They eat grass. They're grass-fed, grass-finished, organic. And then from the fields, they take them straight to processing. And then from processing, the meat is shipped directly to the restaurants or to you at home. You know, it's one thing to hear it, but then to actually see it and, you know, get the drone up and actually see how much space they have to just roam around and just eat the grass. It just makes you think, this is how farming should be done. This is, you know, how to actually use the land properly. And with talking with the staff here at Belcampo, it's just been eye-opening to hear that this is more of a thing that's starting to happen, and people are becoming more aware of, you know, ethical farming practices and how to actually use the land
And it just comes from knowledge. Now we have more knowledge when it comes to how to farm with these methods and be able to do it and not have to use like these grain feeds or these pesticides or anything like that. This whole experience gave me a window into where our food is coming from. But I think more importantly, this gave me an insight into why we should care. Moving forward, I'm going to put more thought into understanding what I'm eating and where it's coming from. Having a better understanding of where our food comes from means that we're going to have better tasting food, we're going to be able to support local economies, and we're making sure that we're putting good, nutritious food in our body.